How's it going, guys? Sir Teapot here. Today we're doing some more STGU, which is Sir Teapot's gaming update. And this week is the week of July the 15th, and this is STGU number 22. And you may be wondering, why is it out on Tuesday, not Monday? Well, I did record it yesterday, and I had a problem with, well, it actually corrupted itself when I rendered it out and everything, and I couldn't get the footage back or anything like that. Every time I tried rendering it, it just corrupted itself. So I am re-recording it today since I didn't have much time to do it yesterday. So I'm doing it again today. So hopefully it should all work today. But yeah, starting off this week, we've got the upcoming games to play, which there isn't actually many to play this week. There isn't actually that much going on. We have got The Sims 4 Island Living, which is coming out for the Xbox One and PS4 on July the 16th. And then we have got Summer Catchers coming out for the PC on July the 16th as well. Then we've got FIA European Truck Racing Championship coming out for the PC, PS4, Xbox One and the Switch. And that is coming out on July the 18th. Then we have got Tech Corp coming out for the PC on July the 18th as well. And then we have got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order coming out for the Switch on July the 19th. So moving on from that, we have got the little bits I like to put in between. So we've got the upcoming game to play, which is The Sims 4 Island Living. And yes, that is in an expansion pack and stuff like that. But it does look quite a lot of fun. It obviously, like I said, it is coming out for console. It is already out for PC. But you do get to build on your own island and stuff like that as well. There's mermaids that get added to the game, and there is another storyline to it like there was with Strangerville. So if you're into Sims, I'd seriously recommend checking this out. It is actually a really good expansion I'm going to be checking out in the near future. Moving on from that, we have got the achievement to achieve, which is actually going to be in Minecraft, which was a new achievement that either came out last week or the week before. I'm not 100% sure when the achievement fully came out, but they've now added a new achievement, and it is called Master Trader, which is to trade 1,000 emeralds with a villager, which is, well, trade for 1,000 emeralds with a villager, which is absolutely insane. I don't know what the percentage of players have actually got this. I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't find the exact percentage, but it is a 30 gamer score achievement. I know it is a rare achievement. I believe it's even been done by less than 1% of players. So, if you can do this, down below in the description, there will be a link to my Twitter. Tag me a picture of you with this achievement, and I may put it in next week's video because it is a very, very difficult achievement to try and to achieve, and I'd love to see if anyone's actually got it out there. So if you do put it on Twitter, use hashtag STGU as well, and I'll be able to find it a lot easier. And moving on from that, we have got the Game Pass game to play, which is a new one that came out, I believe, last week as well, which is Middle Earth. Which was it? Shadow of War. There we are. I couldn't remember. I didn't want to mess it up. Shadow of War is the sequel to the Shadow of Mordor series. It actually looks really, really good. I want to play it myself. It looks a hell of a lot of fun. I'm going to be checking it out myself at some point as well, because obviously I've got Game Pass and stuff like that. But if you enjoyed the first one, this one looks a lot better. It's still got like the Nemesis system and stuff like that. So I'd seriously recommend you check it out. So there you are. Go play it out on Game Pass now. Moving on from that, we have got the biggest news story from last week that you may have missed. So starting off, we have got G2A. If you don't know what G2A is, it is a company that you can buy PC games and I believe some Xbox and PS4 games and stuff like that. But you buy the digital code, but it's from random people and stuff like that. It's not an official seller. Like you can sign up for it and then sell your codes on in a sense, but it's more not just you sell one code and it's selling like 1,000 codes and stuff like that. But they have had a lot of controversy over the last like few years or something like that. But a G2A employee has tried to pay off the press to give G2A themselves a better publicity in a sense because of the bad publicity they have had over the last few years. So a journalist has come out and officially said that a G2A employee has been trying to pay other journalists to give themselves better publicity, which is absolutely ridiculous and very, very bad for G2A in a sense because it's going to ruin their business altogether. Moving on from that, we have got Cuphead is getting its own Netflix series, and it is going to be an animated series, and it is apparently going to be, I believe they said it was going to be 3 seasons contracted to them at the moment, but they don't have an official release yet when it's going to be released, but hopefully it's going to be released within the end of this year, they said, or the start of next year, so it should be quite interesting. I'd actually love to check it out. I can imagine it being quite funny and quite good, to be fair, but I hope Netflix don't mess it up like they do most things. Moving on from that, we have got Nintendo have unveiled a brand new Switch that is called the Switch Lite. It is, the Switch Lite, which is a cheaper and smaller version of Nintendo Switch. It has got no Joy-Cons or anything like that, so it's just one whole solid unit, and it's a bit like a DS in a sense, but with just one flat screen. And rather than taking the Joy-Cons off, they're on permanently and stuff like that. The like D-pads like permanently attached to stuff like that. It looks really, really nice actually. I'm actually interested in getting one myself. It is going to be launching in November, and as I said, it is going to be cheaper than the current Nintendo Switch, so that is also a bonus, a new newer console that's actually cheaper than the original. Nice one, Nintendo. I agree with that. So that should be nice to be able to get people to get their hands on. I hope it runs as well, better than the actual Switch did, because I heard that the battery life wasn't as good when you took it out for the Nintendo Switch. It was about 3-4 hours, but I've heard this one is upwards of about 5-6 hours, which isn't too much of a great upgrade, but it's still not too bad, I guess. And moving on from that, we have got a new Lord of the Rings MMO has been announced and is going to be created by Amazon themselves, which is rather strange. Amazon is obviously the people that are the people that do the delivery service and stuff like that. They are now into the game studio and stuff like that, and they are now making a new Lord of the Rings game, which should be quite interesting, because obviously, like I said earlier, the Shadow of Mordor games were actually pretty good and stuff like that. So hopefully they don't actually mess this up and make an actual good game and prove that they're actually a good game studio. Maybe they can actually pull something out of the bag and surprise a lot of people here, especially with a Lord of the Rings game, because a lot of people love the franchise. So if they mess it up, they've probably fucked everything up for good. But if they don't mess it up and they actually do something good with it, then they might be onto something really good. Some really bad news coming up next is Psychonauts 2 has been delayed until 2020. So recently, Double Fine Studios got bought by Microsoft, I want to say. I'm pretty sure I'm right by that. So they have obviously obtained all their IPs and stuff like that. And now since Microsoft obtained Double Fine Studios, they have now since delayed Psychonauts 2 till 2020, which is a bit of a concern. So even Microsoft have seen the game themselves and gone, no, don't release it yet, give it time, or they actually do genuinely need more time, because this is the second delay I believe we've had now, because I believe it was supposed to be out early 2019 as well. So it's a bit of a shame. Hopefully we get it early into 2020 and we don't have to wait another year for it, something like that, because I do not want to wait another year for a Psychonauts game, because we've waited long enough. Just give us it, please. And the last bit of news for this week is the new Mortal Kombat film. If you didn't know, there is a new Mortal Kombat film coming out, and it actually looks pretty good. I'm actually quite excited for it. And it's going to be a rated R film. So, which means, if you don't know what rated R is, in the UK that is an 18. So in the US is R rated, so only adults can basically go see it and stuff like that. So that means they're going to try to push for gore, as much violence as possible, probably swearing, everything you name it that you could think of for Mortal Kombat. They're probably going to throw it at it, basically. So what they did with Deadpool, basically, when Deadpool was rumoured to be a 13, and then they actually released it as an R-rated film, and they were allowed to put the extra gore in and stuff like that when he actually gets the blood coming out of his head and stuff like that. So hopefully we get a really interesting and really gory Mortal Kombat film, and hopefully it actually does well. Well, no, guys, that's everything from this week, and last week as well. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. If you did, make sure you leave a like, and do share this with your friends, because it helps a lot more than you think. And do subscribe, because if you do, you become one of my loyal subjects,